Hey guys, I hope that you're all doing well. Before we get into the reading, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. Oof, okay, we got some heavy energy here. So it looks like you recently went through an ending. It seems also like there's a question of where you're going to find what you're looking for, knowing that like moving on from a situation is going to need to be done in order to also find what you're looking for. But you may be at a point too where you're trying to figure out how to balance this, maybe accept things that have gone on, regardless of how recent or far away this is, because at least energetically it seems quite palpable still. Whatever ending this was that you had with somebody, I'm seeing that you're making progress with it, with like checking in with yourself and maybe even getting to the point where you're kind of like admitting to yourself and even accepting that you're not going to find what you're looking for in that situation. That is not meant to work out. So you're trying to figure out what to do here. There's a sense of like dread or even heaviness with the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is even feeling like something has kind of turned into a nightmare. It can be. I'm seeing this be related to somebody that you know, the person in question. You may be at a point where you're trying to kind of like work with yourself and how you're feeling. Overall, what it looks like you're trying to do, like the umbrella that everything else can fall under, is accepting the past for what it is. And you may be in a place too right now where you may have a hard time accepting the past. There could also be like somebody that you've been working with that's been helping you or attempting to help you kind of like assimilate. It's like acceptance would really heal all of this. It would kind of absolve even whatever this resistance is. You may have also felt like somebody wronged you in a way, which could also be a reason to you're still holding on to this. Now that like what's done is done and things have concluded in the way that they have, I'm seeing you like kind of be on your own to deal with this. Okay, so like there is an ending flat out, so it's like whatever this was, it's not happening anymore. Reminding yourself that you're in a present moment and not like in the past is going to be important. Also to have the Four of Pentacles and also the Ten of Swords on the bottom of the deck, what this looks like to me is that you may be like very stubbornly holding on to something or like holding on to the pain associated with an ending, and until there's no rush on this. Your guides are like, if you want to hold on to this, that's just going to be the trip that you're on right now. You can hold on to it for as long as you want to. When you decide that you want to let go of this, a lot of things are going to become much easier. But nobody's going to rush you, and it's not going to happen until you're ready to do this. So it's all a matter of free will here for you on your part and what you want to do. And whatever this conflict is that you're feeling, this needs to be grounded. Because I'm seeing this Nine of Swords is a very ungrounded energy. It's like worrying, worst case scenario within situations, having a very hard time adjusting, like everything feels very, very difficult, and it's because of the resistance to the flow. This all comes from a resistance to the flow. As soon as you are in a moment and you are accepting what is happening, trusting that what's happening is meant to be unfolding, using your coping strategies, the ones that work for you effectively, it is going to help you ground. I'm saying like all of this is also associated with a person as well. So it's not just the history. You also may be like tying this to a particular individual. But the King of Cups is underneath the Nine of Swords, which is your guide saying you need to find healthy coping strategies that allow you to mindfully work with this energy. It's like the very difficult mental space that you may even feel like you're struggling through or like suffering. It all comes from a place of suffering. I'm looking at Taurus and Virgo. For some of you, I'm getting stuff about parents. So you're actively trying to work with somebody that's presently in your life, but I'm also seeing that you had a rocky past with this person or with these people, which is making it very hard to get along now. It's like, if you could, I don't want to even say erase the past. If you could accept the past and be in a space where there's just like total acceptance, like radical acceptance of what happened, regardless of whether it was just or not, or you were wronged or whatever it is, if you are in a space of acceptance, it is going to like completely obliterate any issues that you're having within this situation. However, I'm seeing there be a lot of resistance because of being in a space where it's like a lack of acceptance, and that's why it's hard to like deal with whatever this was that had taken place in the past. I think this also is coming down to like maybe even something existential even for you, maybe coming into that territory. If you could imagine that a long, long time ago, before you came down here on the earth plane, you made an agreement to experience everything that you experienced. Your ego didn't make this agreement, no. It's another part of you. Who you actually are, what you actually are, that made the agreement, because your ego is going to be like, I did not sign up for that. But just imagine there's this part of you that is very much you that made an agreement to go through this. It may make it easier to find the acceptance, even to understand that what you have gone through, what you've experienced, was something very necessary in order to help your journey, in order for you to complete your mission of why you came here, what you came here to do as well. Regardless, what I'm seeing being the sticking point right now is that something having to do with your history with like this person or these people, if there were acceptance in relation to the history, historically, what had taken place. It is going to allow ease to flow in and permeate this current working out that is happening. Because I'm seeing you be in a current collaboration that you may be really struggling with right now, and I'm seeing your guides be like, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to ground and use effective coping strategies. Because this is going to, the more you're assimilating, this is going to help you find that space that you're looking to be in, that is connected with a sense of joy. Because I'm seeing it's not too far off for you. It just seems like there's a shift that is needed, where you may even feel like you're kind of at rock bottom a bit. But I'm seeing you be motivated here. It's just a matter of figuring out like how to get through this. Stop resisting. The more you resist, the harder this is going to be. The more you can trust, the easier this is going to be. I'm even seeing your guides be like, hey, come this way, we're trying to show you, and you're like, I don't want to go with you. And I mean, it's going to be your choice anyway. Something is just being, I'm seeing like lit up for you so you can kind of find your way out of this situation. Because it doesn't have to be this, this taxing emotionally and mentally. But it seems like there's so much going on. I'm also seeing like potentially some sort of confrontation, but again, before like words are exchanged, you want to ground, because you want to be speaking from an authentic place emotionally, and you also want to be grounded, because if you are like bringing a sense of like chaos and ungroundedness with your energy, it's going to be very difficult for the person on the receiving end to kind of like translate what it is that you're saying. And like if you want it to translate well, you want to be as grounded and centered as possible. So whatever this is that needs to be dealt with on your end, that is this ungrounded air energy, it needs to be rooted. I wonder too if you're like trying to work things out and you may be trying to make something work that's actually not meant to be happening. It's like, if something is meant to work, is it actually going to be this hard? So you may be kind of like choosing to focus your energy or channel onto something that may actually be out of alignment. Because I'm seeing you trying to work something out with somebody or like work with them, and I'm seeing it be very, very difficult on an emotional level to the point where this is like really affecting you. And you may be asking yourself, like, why does it need to get to that point? Maybe there's also you could feel like a lot of clashing. I will say this too, like if you're very far on one end and this person is very far on the other end of something, you guys are kind of like maintaining and holding that sense of polarity. If you can like move more into the middle, it's definitely going to decrease this like conflict that you have going on with this person. Also too, like if there's something that you feel like you need to get off your chest, as I said before, something needs to be grounded before doing that, because I'm seeing your energy be very like kind of like frazzled or staticky or chaotic, because it needs to be grounded. And then once that's done, a conversation can be had. Otherwise it's not going to translate properly, and it's not going to be effective. I'm seeing that what's related to your past, I'm seeing Taurus be directly connected with this, and I'm also looking at Virgo in the second half, on the tail end of the spread. There can definitely be things popping up that are related to values with the Hierophant here. This can be personal beliefs, it can be spiritual beliefs, traditions, general values, family matters, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm seeing that you really want to ground your energy. You don't want to be doing anything impulsively, because I'm seeing you even realize, like, if I go ahead with this, it's kind of going to like pull the whole picture down. Like, it's basically going to destroy kind of what is suspended delicately right now. And that's why you want to really be thinking about the moves that you're making, rather than just solely going off of, oh, I'm feeling this and so I'm going to act on it right now. There's like not grounding that needs to be happening in order for this to be a more smooth process. Yeah, for some of you, you may even be at a point where you're like, irreconcilable differences is what I'm seeing, because you don't feel like you're being treated properly. As I said before, what I'm looking at is like you trying desperately, like so hard to work something out, and they're just being like, you don't want to settle, this person doesn't want to settle, and it's like, how are you guys still trying to work something out here? It's like, it even feels like it's kind of become a game. Like, I'm going to stand over on this side and you're going to stand over on this side, and we're both agreeing to play with one another, but we're not going to side with one another. It's like a situation like this. Like, your scene partner is doing a great job. It seems very much like if you can kind of get back behind it, you're going to see like even the humor of the situation, even if it doesn't feel particularly humorous when you're in the center of it. If you can kind of like back up out of it and see what's going on, there's going to be like a wider breadth of understanding that you can gain of even the more subtle conversation that's happening between you and this person. When it comes to like your morals and beliefs, that may be what pushes you over to make a choice, because you may be at a point where you're like, I'm sabotaging my like joy and happiness, even trying to make things work with someone that things are not working with. But it's really going to take you being super, super honest with yourself to really see this situation for what it is. It can be hard too when we want things to work out with somebody and we are projecting our desires onto somebody, and it's like those projections are so heavy that you're not even like looking at who that person really is or how they're really showing up, because of how heavy the projections are, because it just like covers them in layers and layers and layers of like costumes and outfits that you're projecting onto them. But if you can like wipe all of that away, you're really going to be able to see like where this person is in a truthful light, and it's going to help you move forward and decide what needs to be done here. So this is like really about wiping things away so you can see clearly, and you're not going to be doing that until you're ready to admit it to yourself. because it's always a choice to live in consciousness and to be honest with ourselves. If we want to be in denial and we're choosing that, then that's what it's going to be. Nobody's going to like force you to see the light or the truth or like bring you out of denial. If you want to see what you want to see, that's what you're going to be seeing. And until you want the truth more than any of your preferences, you're not going to get it. Until that point. So yeah, this looks like a lot of deep psychological stuff that we're moving through. A lot of this it does look like a lot of shadow work. To have the moon and the Six of Swords, what it looks like is just like a lot of peeling back the layers and like seeing underneath and like getting to the bottom of everything. But the first thing, number one on the checklist of what to do here, is going to be ground your energy. This doesn't mean like don't feel everything that you're feeling. You can feel everything that you're feeling, but you want to do things that are grounding and centering, that bring you back into the present. Otherwise, it seems like you're going to get kind of like swallowed up by everything that's going on and finding it hard to find your bearings. And if like getting swallowed up in your emotional process is part of your process, then do that, but don't be making any moves until you're done with that part. Because we all have our own process. Like for some of us, when things come up, like we have different ways of dealing with it than others. For some of us, we like to completely like enter into the void of our emotional sphere, and like you can make art or you can do this or you can do that. But prior to like having a conversation with someone, for some of you it's hard because you have a long history with this person. Prior to having a conversation with someone, you want to ground. You want to make sure you're coming out on the other side of it enough to be like rooted and grounded. So again, so what you're saying translates the way that you want it to translate. Because if you're like all over the place, it's just going to make the situation much more hectic. So it's like handle your business and then come through and have the conversation. Seeing this definitely like not be the easiest to like. For some of you, you're dealing with somebody that was like dishonest and may have been like messing around. Like if you're in a romantic relationship with somebody, you may have found that they were like lying to you about seeing other people or something like that. I'm seeing the Seven of Swords and the Knight of Wands. This is like somebody messing around but not telling you about it. And like a decision needs to be made about that. I don't get the feeling that this is the first time though. This feels like not the first time that this has happened. Yeah, I keep seeing it over and over again. It looks like you are going to eventually get to the point where, like, bottom line, you're asking yourself, like, is my heart really in this anymore? Like, can I really, like, continue leaving myself open to this and like trying again, or is it just like too much and I really need to leave this behind? Like, is this really just the right thing for me to do to move forward, to move on from this situation? Seems like there you are going to find your answer. Deep. All right, my friends, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for connecting. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing. And I hope to catch you guys next time.